All right, good afternoon. Today we were looking at, really, I would say a range day. I didn't even look at this. Oh man, so prices closed just at the top of, at the bottom of what would have been the channel. I didn't even check that. Doesn't look like that would have helped you much. This looks like it would be the top of the channel. So. Yeah, it wouldn't have helped you much, but that does look valid. You can see the midline here, touches there, and when that touch right there, that tells me that there's something valid there. But I don't think you would have been playing that. So not really a whole lot to talk about today. If you weren't in here trading in the morning, you didn't have a whole lot to trade off of. I think this is probably 9:46 a.m. Some of these might be questionable even. Let's take a look. I think these aggressive ones I marked were pretty questionable, but this shouldn't take long. Really, we were just in a range. In the overnight range, we hit the measured move and just went sideways. So let's see, 5 a.m. Oh, this is pretty early. But yeah, 5 a.m. comes. We're in the range. That's what I was looking at this as, these overnight highs and lows. We trended up, but it was a weak uptrend. Once we hit this high up here, we just made a big leg down. There was a nice sell-off. So I looked at this as a range, especially when we're trending up here. So we make this low right here. Come back to the EMA and make a failed second entry short. This looks like a pretty aggressive entry to me, especially you're at the midline of the overnight highs and lows. And that's probably why we went sideways here. But when you get this second entry, poor signal bar right here, but you get this higher low right here, I really like that. And now that I'm looking at it, this might be a spike in channel. It does indeed look like that's the case. This also kind of looks like a failure. Technically, it's not. First, second, third, fourth entry, but kind of looks like this is a new low. But it's a second entry right here. Poor signal bar. Higher low right here. I think you got to go long there. And I don't see, you could enter this one, but that's aggressive. I do like that just because I like that when the signal bar closes pretty close to the EMA like that. You could look at that as a higher low. And then we come up to these overnight highs, get one touch. This is right at the opening, and you can see it just shoots through the EMA. First entry, failed second entry long. Boom. And you really could have gone short on the engulfing bar. Unfortunately, I took this on my practice account, and I couldn't even move my target any further, or else you would have gotten at least like 6 points off this. Come back here. This looked like congestive to me, but you can see we don't make it to these overnight lows. And then this looks like a double bottom. You get a first failed second entry right here, but I would expect prices to come back down. And really, we're just in the middle of the overnight highs and lows here, so it's hard to say what's going to happen. But when we break up into this congestion, and you get a first entry, second entry. Unfortunately, you don't get a great signal bar right here, but it's a second entry long. So you might take that, and you might have had your level of resistance right here. So that's like a double test of that price level. So there's reasons to take that. It's just a doji, and there's a bunch of bars stacked up there, so in real time I would hope that I would not take that, but ends up being a good trade. Come up here, first entry, second entry, it's a failed breakout. I think if you're thinking clearly, I think you can take this. The bias is up. We broke up into this congestion, but if you don't take that, you got this higher low, and I like that. And we come up here, right up at the highs of the range, and there's just not a lot right here that you can do. First entry. This is a failure, but you're going into the lows. You might consider that. But this is pretty strong support right here. This looks like a failed breakout to me. But it's just there's not a high or low. Then we shoot back up. You get a first entry, failed second entry right here. I just don't see how you could take that, unfortunately. But it looks good. But look how much congestion that is. And so this, I don't know how you would be able to get in on this. And this range was just, there's nothing. You got to stay away from this. You get chopped to pieces. And so this midline is what I had as the original range. So this was I looked at this as a high or low, failed breakout, counter trend breakout. And then I looked at this as a failure, even though you shouldn't look for failures in ranges. It closes above the EMA, so I like that. I should not mark this as red, but I thought failed second entry long, or it's a second entry short actually, is what I was looking at it as. It's also a failed second entry long, and it looked like we might be breaking back into the overnight highs and lows, so that's why I looked at that one. But it's definitely risky, man, especially with this. Come up here. I didn't see this in real time, but it looks good on the chart just because we have this downward short-term bias, and that's just a very bearish bar, and it looks like it sets up as a trap, especially you're going into that midline which just held prices twice, so that's a tough call, but just looks good after the fact. Here, this is a second entry long. Look, this is aggressive. I really don't even think you should take that. This is so congested. This you might consider. I mean, this is the fourth time we've tested this price level. It's a low risk bar, so you might consider that. Then we started trending higher, and there's no way to get in on this down here. This is a second entry, and the reason I even marked this was because I thought maybe the trend line was like this. But after now, we see that this was the trend line, and when you get this first, second entry, very bullish bar, that I originally, the way I had my trend channel drawn, looks like Ninja Trader might have moved it, but it closes inside that trend channel. I like that. I like that a lot. Especially, I was expecting a second move up because we moved with such a strong leg into this level of congestion, or this area of congestion, I should say. Let's see. But we do have two legs up, really. But yeah, I was expecting a measured move of some sort, so I like this. I like this entry a lot. I took that. And we do hit this measured move, and we also hit the range overnight lows and highs measured move, and we form this congestion. Just get out of that. Don't even bother. You're gonna lose your money. And I just don't see anything I like in here. Unfortunately, you don't get any setups to go short. And here, this is a second entry long off of a level of support. And it works out eventually, but look, that looks like a potential downtrend. It gets scary in there. That's really all I saw for today. So, trades I took on the simulator, I took the two first trades I marked. And so this failure, I'm okay with that. We're getting, we have these two dojis up here, but I don't think this is a great entry, but I think this is a great entry. The high or low off the second entry long. And so I'm satisfied with those entries. This one, maybe don't take that. But with this strong leg up, I thought it was okay for the first failed second entry short. So that's what I saw for today. Hope everyone had a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow.